Stokes, the podcast where we dive deep with the real ones doing the real work. Today's guest is someone who's not just building fighters, but building futures. I'm joined by Ali Benjamin, Coach Ali Benjamin, a professional and amateur boxing coach, manager, and gym owner out of San Ramon, California. Ali's roots run deep. Introduced to boxing by his father, a pro boxer in the UK, he started fighting at the age of 8 years old. But life threw him a few hooks on his own, and for a time he stepped away from the ring. 10 years later, he then came back, this time as a coach. And everything has changed. He's now using the sport that once saved him to save others, mentoring youth, shaping champions, and chasing a mission, bringing the WBC back to San Ramon. We're about to unpack his journey, the grind, the growth, and the grace behind the gloves. So without further ado, please welcome my brother, Coach Ali Benjamin. What's up, baby? Salute. How you doing?
What's going on, man? First off, thank you for having me, Coach Stokes.
Yes, sir.
I
Yes, sir.
appreciate you, man. I've been wanting to get on here. I've been seeing you doing your thing, man. I love it. And, it's a pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to have you, brother. So let's start, brother. Hey, what's the moment you knew coaching, not just boxing, was your true calling?
It's a great question. I would say when I first started building the gym, the physical gym, I built it with team, but we was doing all the manual labor. And in between the manual labor, I'd be training sessions, like halfway ring built, couple bags over there, still training, then get back to building the ring, putting up drywall, this, that, and the third. And like for 30 days plus, that's what my life was. And it would be 15, 16-hour days, just training, building, training, building. And I just felt like I never felt like I was working too hard or working for nothing. I knew that the work was what was needed to be done in order to build this big thing that I knew was going to happen. And in that moment, in the past, I'd be like, man, there's a lot of stuff going on. Like, I love the grind, but when it's just that relentless, it sometimes even gets you. But I could see what was going to happen. And I felt like motivated by it,
You come from very humble beginnings. I saw an interview where you were talking about how you were going to different people. I guess you were a mobile.
Yes.
Which is big on the East Coast, because I know buddies in New York City that they have a big U-Haul and they have all these stuff inside of the U-Haul. Very, very good. Just throw you some game on that. We can talk about that later. But what gave you the idea to be mobile first and then get your brick and mortar?
Yeah, really what it was I just was at a lot of different gyms, right? I was at like a boxing gym, I was at a fitness gym, I was at another little private gym. And so I was already traveling.
Yes.
I was already having one, two, and then I started to just really promote myself on Instagram, and people would hit me up from different cities in the Bay, and I would be like, yeah. And so it first started with just a little gym bag in my car, and I go over there, and then it just started building and building until I had, a lot of equipment, and I'm taking it here and there, and then building a outdoor ring at my apartment complex. And then building it up and taking it down every time I had to get the sparring out there. And it just, it made sense to me. And then when COVID hit, it really started to bubble up because everything was closing and the only thing you could do was outside. And I had already been doing it. I'd already been doing it outside. So I already knew the parks and I knew the places and I knew the people. And then, like everything, God did his work and he just used me as a vessel, and it started to just bubble and build one person by one person,
Brother, hey, I would tell you, your setup is very professional. I love how you run it. And then I'm claiming this already. I don't think you'll be there for much longer because I think you're going to outgrow that place. Probably, if not, already have outgrown it.
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of people come to you. I've watched you over the years, bro. I've watched you over the years, man. You're doing a magnificent job. You're welcome. How has your father's legacy shaped the way that you train when it comes to other fighters and other people?
The biggest thing about my dad as a fighter, he was a worker. My dad, he didn't have the most talent. He had good speed and he was a worker. And so he trains hard. My dad, to this day, 71 years old, runs 5 miles 2 days a week, comes into the gym after and does 15 rounds straight. He just only knows how to work. And so that's it. And like in his job, that his career after boxing, he would get up at 5 a.m., work till that's just who he is. So I would say that's the biggest piece that I took in, because I saw it work for him and I saw it work for me. And when I stepped away from boxing, he saw in me that I wasn't willing to put in that work. And that's what kind of had us butting heads when I stopped boxing at 15, 16 years old, because I wasn't working like that. And in my mind at the time, being a young teenager, not knowing, I thought I was doing the work, but now looking back, I wasn't doing the work.
Right, right. Let's build on top of that. You say you thought you were doing the work, but you wasn't doing the work. Because I get this a lot when I don't have a stable like you do. I'm only training my son, Diesel, but it's a lot, man. And a lot of times when you tell your fighters, hey, do this, do that, you know for a fact, you know what? Johnny or Jimmy ain't gonna do it. They're gonna learn to find out the hard way, and then they give you this look. This look is like, yeah, yeah. Didn't I tell you? I told you. But you had to find out the hard way. So please elaborate on that.
You know what? The session, the class with your coach, that's just where it begins, right? Like a lot of fighters, especially in this day and age, like they think that if you just come to the class or the session, 4 or 5 days a week, that's enough.
Yeah.
But in boxing, you need to do the road work. You need to do your own work in the gym.
Yes.
You need to do the diet. You need to do the mental work. And you need to be hungry to do that. In the beginning, maybe not so much. You got to build the discipline and build the habits. But at a certain point, you need to want. If you really want to be a fighter at the elite amateur or professional level, you need to have the want to do the more, so that then you can compete with the best guys in the country, in the world, in the state.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So you have a new trainee or a new fighter that comes in and they tell you this. They just saw Creed. I want to be world champion. How many times do you get that? And when you get it, how do you cater around that to letting them know, like this is a different world. This is a different lifestyle. This is not football where you can go ahead and say, if you get hurt, I need a timeout. This is not basketball. This is not soccer. As you and I both know, you've been in the ring and I've been in the ring. If you get hurt, you have to find a way to get through that. So what do you do? What do you do with your fighters, man?
Yeah, that's a great question. To be honest, when they say that, I hold in laughter and I smile, right?
Yeah.
Because, you cannot tell me anything in boxing. You have to show me. You cannot tell me anything. I don't care what you've told me. You have to show me. And so what I tell them is, hey, this is a game of patience and persistence.
Yes.
And you got to start where everyone starts and you got to build it up. And then when I see that you're ready to spar, then that's another level. And then when I see that you've gotten to that level, then we'll see if you can surpass that level and see where you can go to some outside sparring. And then, eventually getting to the place where you can compete. But this takes years, not months. And I think that's the hardest thing that a lot of people don't understand, because in most sports, you sign up for a sport, you practice for a month, you play the sport in a month. Every sport, youth sport is kind of like that, right?
Yes.
You join the team, you practice for a month, you play the game, right? But there's no consequences. Like you said, you get hit with a baseball, you get to sit out the game, you get timeout, you get a boom. Boxing, one, it's on you, so you need to maintain your health because there's no substitution.
Right.
And then two, when you do maintain a slight injury in the fight, you need to fight through it. And then just the mental aspect of being able to box and not fight, and to be mentally aware that I need to be focused on the goal of winning.
Yes.
More than focused on the goal of, oh, he hit me and I'm mad. And because a lot of young men and women, but especially young men, they get that ego involved. And then that hinders their growth because they're always walking around about how they lost or won sparring, when us coaches know it's not about winning or losing.
Exactly, exactly. And I'm glad you said that, because sparring is sparring. That's it. Because I'm pretty sure, I've seen plenty of fighters who aren't good when it comes to sparring, when it comes to training. They are lackluster. But then when they get in there and when it's a real deal fight, they turn on. They turn on. I've seen those type of killers where it's like, man, and I've seen guys that go 20 rounds, 30 rounds. And then when it's time for them to fight, they can't crack open the egg, unfortunately. It's like, man, what's going on? So I totally agree with you. But the most important thing to me is being a coach is patience, bro, because you have to have that patience. Like one kid might turn on early and it's like, he's winning everything, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. But you have a kid that's not. Just because that kid is not winning doesn't mean that he's going to be good. You have to have patience. He's not ready yet, So if he's not ready, hey, invest that time. Like you said, get boost his confidence up, and then when he's ready to go, he's gonna go ahead and go. So I love what you're doing, man. I love everything that you're doing there, bro. I've bitten some of the things you've done too. So I'm not gonna tell you what I bit, but I bit some of the things you do. So I'll watch you. I'll
You
watch you.
too, though. You too. Don't trip. It's both ways, boy. It's both ways. It's both ways.
Hey, I got a question. What does building a champion mean to you beyond just winning fights?
Really, what it means to me is being able to build characteristics in a person
Mm-hmm.
that makes them resilient and makes them hard to be able to take, when things come at them that are unusual, unsure, or uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
they are able to weather it and come out on the other side. And when they're able to do that better in life, they end up being able to do it in the ring better and vice versa. So it's like building their character, building their mind, building their discipline, and just building their character to make them be a person that doesn't shy away from a challenge, that doesn't that has standards and morals, that stands on something,
Yes.
and just is a good person, but also like a dog.
Right. Right. The whole person concept of them being a well-rounded individual, because you and I both know when they talk about boxing, man, like when I talk to people, it's like, oh, they're a boxer or he boxes. They think like you're rough around the edges, or they think that you don't have a good vocabulary, or they think that
Yes.
you're unintelligent. No,
Yes.
in order to be a fighter, my wife learned this too years ago because she sparred one first time and she got out. She's like, oh, I don't know how you guys do it. It's crazy in there. It's hectic. It's bananas, man. You have to be able to survive and know how to be strategic in there, man. Fighters
Yes.
are some of the most sharpest people in the world, man. For
Yes.
real. You know,
Yes.
you
Couldn't
know.
agree more. Couldn't agree more because it's the most uncomfortable situation to be in.
Yes,
And the best guys look so comfortable. They look so comfortable, and you have to adjust to the adjustment in real time without
that's right.
taking breaks. You have to think. And even someone that looks ugly and like pressure, someone like a Navarrete, he's still a great thinker. Like, I don't care that he looked ugly. He's still timing. He's still knowing when to go. He's
Yeah,
still doing all these things. And although the fundamentals and techniques might not be to the book, a guy that gets that elite level, he has something up here mentally.
that's
He
right.
is so intelligent in that ring that he's able to feel when a person is, not ready. Feel when a person is tired. Feel
Mm-hmm.
when a person doesn't have that and you turn on the gas and go, because that's one of the best skills to have. That's what you can't teach. You can't teach a guy like that feel. You know what I mean? You can teach him fundamentals, you can teach him conditioning, you can teach him hard work to a certain extent, but feel is something kind of a guy has or he doesn't.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. So, in anything that you've been through when it comes to boxing, and then then you stopped boxing and you came back. So, just reflecting on putting everything together, what have you
Got it.
seen,
Got it.
come into play when it comes to your fighters now?
The thing is I don't want them to make the same mistake I did. That's the big thing, and I've lived it. And my
Mm-hmm.
fighters, I think more than that, they will come and talk to me about things that they won't tell their parents, they won't tell other coaches,
Oh
because
yeah.
they know that I've lived a life where I made bad decisions, and
Yes.
I have experience, and I've gone both sides. I've went the wrong path, and I'm going the right path. And so they value my words because they see it, because I share them. I'm open with them. I tell them,
Mm-hmm.
hey, this is what happened to me. I made the wrong decisions. Don't do the things I did. Can we please learn from my mistakes rather
Yes.
than you going through the same ones? And so I'm very big on sharing that and continuing to explain that to them. And then the medicine to that is discipline and consistency. The medicine to not making those mistakes that I've harped on is discipline and consistency. If you stay in the gym consistently, you will not get into trouble. If you, it's that simple. You don't have the time to go there. And consistency to me is 6 days a week for multiple hours a day. And you're not necessarily training that whole time,
Right.
but you're absorbing. You're watching film, you're helping at the gym, you're helping your fellow stablemate that has less experience than you. You're cleaning, you're this, you're that. You're creating something going on in the gym. And when you do that, you're a part of a community. And then you don't want to let down your community, which then makes you not want to make bad decisions.
That's right. I was telling my son the story about how fighters back in the day, fighters would fight for their own country. It was like they take the best. We're going to take Ali Benjamin with country San Ramon, and we're going to take Diesel Stokes with country Stockton, if both were countries. And they're gonna
Yes.
take, and whoever won, their country was proud of that, man. So when you say the community, they're not just representing you; they're representing their entire community, and that's something
Yeah.
that these kids need to understand. You're a transformational coach, man. You're not, even though boxing is transactional, because at the end of the day, everybody, wants to win that title, and then they want to
True.
get the big money and stuff like that.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, you are a transformational coach. You're all about building these kids into something much bigger than that. Because at the end of the day, I already know the way that your game is, you're showing them not just to being a fighter, but hey, how to be a manager, how to be a promoter,
Yes.
how to put fights together. When I come to your fights,
Yes.
I see them working at the fights. They know what's
Yes.
going on. There's so many of these boxers that are out there. Yeah, I'm talking to you fighters. You guys know. Stop being focused on the bag, as you guys say. Hey, if you
Yeah.
do the hard work, and you focus, it's gonna come to you.
Man, but I gotta build on that because that right there, I want my fighters to be able to make a living inside the gym as well as not just through fighting. So
That's
I
right.
have them coach, I have them work the front desk, I have them work events,
That's
I
right.
find jobs for them to do in the community because then we can build it and keep it all in here. And they're building skills. They're building
Yes.
skills outside of fighting. Even the best career in the world is going to last till 40 something years old. The
Right.
best career, majority 20 something years old.
Right.
Okay. So what are you going to do for the rest 60, 70 years of your life? You're going to just say about how you used to be a great boxer and work at McDonald's. You know what I mean? You gotta have skills. So I'm really trying to build them skills, customer service, being on time, inventory, just simple things that I need help with, that they need the job training.
Yeah.
And I think that, yes, sometimes they volunteer, but I think they deserve to get paid. I like to pay my guys because it gives them another worth and it gives them a feeling of, hey, if I don't do this, I don't get, so I got to be more professional. I
Yes.
got to make sure I can't just show up and be like, oh, because that's what happens when it's like a volunteer situation, in my experience.
Right, and it's saying, and you let them know that they are valued. You're not gonna
Yeah.
do this for free, man. Like, if you're doing your services, you're gonna get paid for it. But at the same time, too, I'm your coach. This is transactional, and I'm letting you know I appreciate you. So, man, salute to you, brother. I'm glad you said that, man. I'm glad you said that because a lot of these kids don't understand. And customer service is huge, man. We go places and you see these kids, not all of them, but the majority, they're like this, and you're just like, hey, how you doing? Look up, say something, greet, I mean, it's different. It's different
It's
now. It's a
different.
different
It's
gen. Yeah.
different. It's different. It's the screens. It's the lack of discipline. It's a lot. It's the lack of sport, lack of outside play, lack
Yes.
of human interaction. You know what I mean? And then it's just a lack of, I guess, society norms. It's normal now for like the kids not to say nothing to the adults and just to look down at their screen. And so like kids get into environments where that's not normal because I think boxing gym is a place of respect and a place of old school values. So they're
Yes.
gonna get through situations where they're like, "What's going on?" So it's on us coaches' job to
Hmm.
to inform them and to show them how to do that, because if we don't say nothing, they won't do nothing different.
They won't. They won't. They won't. It's kind of like my son looks at me like, what are we gonna do next? Like I know if I don't tell him doing certain things, he's not gonna do it. So it's like I have to tell him every day. I'm to the point now where it's like he knows he's gonna hear my mouth. If he don't hear my mouth, it's like I thought you were gonna say. I thought you find that? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good, man. Oh, okay, okay, okay. All right then. So
That's what's up. That's good.
yeah.
That's good.
So if your gym could talk, what kind of stories would it tell?
It would tell a lot of stories. It would tell stories of jokes. It would tell stories of perseverance.
Mm-hmm.
It would tell stories of tears.
Yeah.
It would tell stories of just hard work. That's the main thing. Hard work and transformation. Hard work and transformation.
Without a doubt.
You know what I mean? Because I've seen a lot of these kids and adults literally change their whole personality, confidence, and everything through boxing. And it just gave them the type of confidence that every person needs to be successful. So I think that's the main stories it would tell. Confidence and transformation.
I've had an ongoing relationship, as I would tell, like I tell my wife, and I would tell, like if I had a girl from back then, like they ask me, like I tell them, like I fight, I'm a boxer, so I don't have time. And if you don't understand what I'm doing, you don't need to be in my life. And I tell these young men this, like if you're going to be a fighter, it is a lifestyle. It is something that you live, man. You know, like you hear me say all the time, what makes a champion? It's the foods you eat, it's the times you sleep, it's the friends you keep, it's the knowledge you seek, and it's the words you speak.
Whoa, that's fire.
I'll send it to you. I text it to you.
That's fire.
But if you do those things, man, this is a sport where, unlike football or basketball or anything else, and none against all those other sports, but you cannot miss a step in boxing. I'm pretty sure you've seen it. You have a great training camp. Guy goes out there, one wrong thing can happen. I don't know if he had an argument with his girl or he looks at the TV and something just jars him the wrong way, and he goes out there and it's like, what happened, man? We was in camp the entire time. Coach, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. That's how wild this sport is, brother.
Crazy. It's crazy. The sleep. People don't know how important the sleep is, especially because I know your son has, won national tournaments. When you have to fight multiple days in a row, the sleep.
Oh my gosh.
The sleep. And then the weigh in early, the sleep is hard to do. How you supposed to do it? But if you don't do it, you gon' have a hard time out there.
You are.
Oh man. That's something I had to learn. I had to learn that because I'm the type I can always just sleep. I can sleep easy. I can sleep boom boom boom. But you gotta teach these kids like how to meditate and calm the mind and to sleep in the days and to know how to turn the screen off and to eat the right foods and take the magnesium or whatever it is that their body needs to so they can recover. Man,
that's right.
Yeah, I had to learn that the hard way multiple times.
And it's something that they don't tell you because they don't have a guidebook on boxing, unfortunately.
No.
So you have to be around the right people. Coaches that are out there, just you're beginning to coach, or if you want to be a brand new fighter, find a reputable coach. I'm talking to you fighters and you coaches out there. Find a reputable coach, somebody like Coach Ali Benjamin, or somebody that's out there.
Like Coach Stokes.
Thank you. But you have people that's out there, and I know you've seen it before, and you say to myself, I say to myself, like, I don't know how much longer he gonna have this kid. I don't know if this kid is gonna end up quitting or he's gonna go to somebody else because they show them things that are not right, man. They're not right. A lot of these kids wanna learn the Floyd Mayweather shoulder roll and the routine when they can't even throw a freaking jab properly, man, on how to step and do the right things. I've gone to your gym. I've seen the drills that you've done, and you do these drills over and over and over again. Because why? It's not gonna stop. You got to do the boring things, man. You have to do now. I won't say boring, but you have exactly the most important things, man.
Yes, it's what it is. What we want to do and what we need to do are two way different things in boxing, and you have to do the things you need to do much more than the things you want to do. The things you want to do, like hitting the pads flashy, it doesn't help that real life technique and training that you need be in the ring and fight.
That's right. That's right. I want to ask you this, and this is a deep question. If you go ahead and let me know, but what's the hardest conversation you've ever had with one of your fighters?
You know what? I think that's the conversation of I don't think that you're ready to you should compete.
Yeah.
Like they've already competed, and there's just certain people that they don't have the work ethic or the time. They're not willing to make the time, as well as the reflexes and just the God-given abilities. And most people can overcome that part. Most people, but it's a hurt business. And I feel some type of way putting someone out there that I know is gonna get hurt. And I'm not saying that it's a forever thing, but it's gonna be a year, 2 years thing if you continue to not make the adjustments in fight that need to be made.
No, and I agree with you because I think there's a lot of coaches out there. Maybe you have parents that's like, well, why isn't Isaac fighting? Why is he? And you let them know, like, Isaac has not been doing what he needs to do when it comes to training, or he's not listening. You and I both know, man. Like these kids want to listen to you when they want to listen to you. They're gonna do it when they want to do it, and you by you being a coach and saying like you're not ready to fight. That takes a lot of balls, especially today because when we were coming up, we didn't have social media. We didn't have these.
No,
We didn't have phones. Hey,
Nope.
Diesel said to me, he said, "Hey, Dad, how was YouTube when you were growing up?" I said, "Man, we didn't have no damn YouTube. If a fight came on, a Tyson fight, we had to wait that following weekend or even the next month for it to re-show. But these kids have it at the grasp of their hands within seconds. Just to watch a fight.
Yes.
So it's something that you definitely have to be cognizant and aware of. Hey, I want to ask you this: how do you handle your young fighters who come in broken, not physically but emotionally?
Yes. And it's sad because it's mainly kids
Yeah.
that have been broken through the experiences that life has thrown at them, and they have no confidence. They have no ability to even look you in the eye.
Yeah.
They have no want to work. They don't even know what hard work is because they've never seen it. And it's not that they're even unwilling to work hard. They just don't know what it is. And so you have to show them and you have to push them to work hard because they think just showing up is working hard. And it's a very abrasive process to get someone to go and to rethink everything that they've been taught up to that point in life. But the great thing about them being kids is they're so resilient and so willing to change.
What is it? So let me ask you this: what is it? Because you and I both know it's a trust issue when it comes to boxing. You can send a kid out there, like for example, shout out to Lila. Shout out to Lila. Hey,
Lightning Lila.
I'm telling you this right now. Hey, folks, be aware of this young lady. I'm a fan of hers, man. I love her dad, her family, her little sister, her little brother. I love what they doing, man. I've seen her at her very first fight. This young lady is gonna be the next big thing. If not, is already the next big thing in Northern California, and she's gonna be across the nation. I'm telling you this right now. She's my favorite female fighter. Straight up, by far. I'm telling you that right now. She's my favorite female fighter. And my wife loves her. So how do you build that rapport with them, in order to get them to that point? Because a lot of kids that are closed off, they have that shield, that fence up where it's like, you got to earn my trust.
Yeah. I think it's through showing them, man. It's through showing them, showing up to sparring over and over again, willing to help them, helping them get their book, helping them get a uniform, showing them, rewarding them
Yes.
when they really do something great, and just being more than just the physical coach, like being more than just a man. Like that's just where my job, that's 1% of my job is holding the pads.
Right.
And I think a lot of coaches, that's 99% of their job. That's a whole nother conversation. But
Yeah.
you got to be able to connect here and have them trust you here. It's through actions. It's not through words. You got to show them through actions.
Facts. We only got a couple more questions, brother. I would like to keep you here all day if I could, man, but I know you're busy. So thank you. I just want to ask you this. In chasing that WBC belt for San Ramon, What keeps you grounded?
Man, just my family, my wife, and my parents.
Shout out to your wife. Hey, I did notice that I did my research. Is she a cheer coach?
Yeah, she owns a cheer gym 1,000 feet this way, and we both had our gyms before we met.
All right, so check it. My wife was a cheerleader. So when I first met her, she's like, I was like, "You do any sports?" She's like, "Yeah, I cheer." And I looked at her, I was like,
Yeah,
that ain't no damn sport. Hey, but come to find out, statistically, hey, cheerleaders, they have a lot of falls, man. They get injured a
they
lot.
get hurt more than boxers, low key.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. So I saw that, and I was gonna say, big up to your wife. My wife has to meet your wife so they can get together so they can talk about cheer, man, for real.
My wife would love that. My wife is so hardcore cheer, she still competes at 30 years old. They have an adult cheerleading league. So when she goes to the as a coach to bring her teams every
Yes.
like 3 or 4 competitions, they'll compete, all the adults, and I'm telling you, she still do everything, tumble, flip, everything,
Wow.
all that shit, and it's impressive. She's in great shape, and I think that yeah, it's something that I opened my mind because I thought cheerleading was some BS, to be real.
Me,
And then when she even got me over there doing some stuff, and that's hard. That is hard.
It is. And so major respect to anybody, all you cheer coaches or any cheerleaders, man. It is a sport. It is. It definitely is a
Yes.
sport. I didn't think it was, you know.
Yes.
What role does community play in the success of a fighter and a coach?
It plays a big role because you can't do it all yourself. Like, when you're growing as a gym, growing as a business, growing as a coach, there's a lot of fighters, there's a lot of things that need to get done. And so you need a community to help you and delegate and to come together so that you can, each one teach one and build things up even when you're not physically able to help them in that moment.
Okay. Good answer. Good answer. If you had to describe your coaching style in 3 words, what would they be and why? Come on.
Teacher,
Teacher. Okay. Definitely.
discipline, hard work.
Teacher, disciplinarian, and hard work. Or discipline, hard work. Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. And I liked how you said teacher because you're not a coach, you're not a trainer, you are a teacher, bro. And we're losing a lot of those,
Yes.
the Georgie Bentons, the Lou
Yes.
Dubas, even though he's still alive, but he's getting older. But a wild card gym owner. I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart right now. Freddie Roach, those guys like that.
Emmanuel Stewart, man.
Emmanuel
That's
Stewart.
That's my goat. That's the guy that I go on YouTube literally once a month and I'll be watching the video I've already seen 10 times and I'll be trying to just see one little thing that I missed, maybe. You know what I mean? Because he's just got that. Cus Kamado too. He up there, especially the mental aspect.
Yes. My Cuss was very cerebral, man. He was. I mean, he had to be there in order to have Mike Tyson. Not as anybody.
That's one of the hardest guys to coach. That's gotta be one of the hardest guys.
Man.
It's like this.
Really.
Like all the talent, but at one moment, if you say the wrong, he might leave the gym. I had guys like that. Those guys, they're emotional. They're little babies, but they got this big old body, but they're a baby.
Yes. And you say the wrong thing, you won't see him for a week, a month, or even a year, or they'll never come back. He's like, man, what happened? So that's something that you definitely got to be aware of. 2 more questions, brother, and then we'll be done. How do you personally define redemption, and where does it show up in your journey? So redemption.
Yeah, that's great. Redemption is just being able to come back and do things better than you ever thought you could do. Coming back and doing things and surpassing the goals that you set for yourself and being able to teach someone what you through the mistakes that you've made so that they don't have to make those mistakes.
That's your story, bro. That's your story.
Yep.
That's it. Redemption. That's your story because you started off, then you stopped.
Yep.
Wherever it was that wall that you hit, and you came back even stronger, man.
It's a blessing, man.
I'm glad you went through what you went through, man, because I would have not met you.
Yep.
We would have not been bonded like as brothers, man. So I just want to tell you, man, thank you, man. Thank you for what you do, man. For real.
Thank you, man.
Last question. Definitely, we do. Last question. Fast forward 10 years. What does the legacy of Ali Benjamin look like?
10 years?
Yes, sir.
That WBC belt is in the gym. That's for sure, if not a couple. Okay. That and community building within San Ramon, and even spread through the Bay Area. I would say multiple gym locations and a professional promotional career, which I'm just getting started with, but I have big plans for May 24th, y'all. And that growing, because I really want to give fighters the opportunity to build up in the Bay Area and not have to go to Mexico, go to Los Angeles, go here, and to give them that, and from local shows all the way to big ones. That's my goal with that, to start with the local stuff, but then eventually to be able to go to Chase Center, to go to Oracle, and do the big ones.
So you got the floor right now, man. Please let us know what you got coming up. You let the cat out the bag a little bit, but what you got coming up? How can the people contact you as well? Your social media, blast any and everything out, man. The yours.
Thank you. So the first thing is the next generation of fighters, Elite Underdog Promotions, May 24th, Memorial Day weekend at the Pleasanton Fairgrounds. We're going to have a venue, 3,000 people, great ambiance. We're going all in, lighting, setup, walkouts, DJ, some special guests and surprises, 12 professional fights, all local Bay Area fighters. Please be there. Doors open 4 p.m. and that's a Saturday. It's going to be our first show. Me and my business partner Juan Sanchez, my promotional company, Elite Underdog Promotions, and I want to see everyone out there. If you're a boxing head, be there. Okay. To get information on that, at Benjamin's Boxing, at Elite Underdog Promotions. But at Benjamin's Boxing, that's me. Everything me is at Benjamin's Boxing. I have amateur shows all the time. I'm having one this weekend, actually, on Saturday. If you're in the Bay Area, 1 to 5 p.m. right here in San Ramon. The best amateurs in the Bay are going to be coming and having a great showing. Really, and then my website, benjaminsboxingandfit.com. If you want to come get some work in, we do boxing classes all the way from beginner to professional. So you don't got to be a pro boxer. You don't got to know boxing. You don't even got to be in shape. Come here to get in shape. And if you are an elite fighter and want to get that work and spar, we have all that going on a weekly or daily basis.
Benjamin, when you going to do another a round robin type of sparring when you just invite people out?
Man, really, every Wednesday we do like a small one where like I would say like 4 or 5 gyms come, but a big one where like 10 gyms come, we're gonna be doing next month on May, the first week of May. But I'm all about, if you want the work, please reach out. Reach out, we'll make it happen. I want to build each other up. That's how we get better. All the gyms from the old school, they would always be working with each other. We need to get that. Coach Stokes can tell you he's always over here with his son, and we work, man. It don't matter if his guy's got more than mine or mine has more than his. We work and we make it work, and that's how we get better. It's not a fight. It's not a fight. We don't have to pick and choose. We don't have to kill each other in there. We just gotta work and ebbs and flows.
That's right. Ebbs and flows. That's right. That's right. Well, that's a wrap for today's powerful session with Coach Ali Benjamin. From childhood dreams to real world impact, Ali's story is proof that sometimes stepping back sets you up for a stronger comeback. His mission goes beyond titles and trophies. It's about transformation, discipline, and divine purpose. If today's conversation hit you like a clean left hook, share it, rate it, and don't forget to subscribe. Follow Ali's journey and keep your eyes on San Ramon, because that WBC belt might just be headed home. This is Coach Stokes, and always remember what makes a champion: the foods you eat, the times you sleep, the friends you keep, the knowledge you seek, and the words you speak. This is Coach Stokes, and I'm out. Peace.
Amen.
Hey, hold on for a second, Coach.
Yeah.
All right, I stopped it, so I'm gonna keep you here because with this Riverside app,